Roman Reigns attempted contacting his wiseman, Paul Heyman, on the most recent SmackDown broadcast. But his phone was out of service, so he cannot contact him. This might be worrying news for Reigns and his team. The original Bloodline by Roman Reigns and the rendition of the Bloodline by Solo Sikoa collided on the blue brand. In the ring, the All Bloodline first started to show superiority, but the tables flipped right away when Bronson Reed ambushed Reigns and the rest of his team from behind, exposing himself as the fifth member of Sikoa's stable for the War Games battle. Fans have been asking where Paul Heyman is after Reigns missed his wiseman, last seen in the June 28 Friday Night SmackDown. The Bloodline viciously assaulted him after his rejection of Solo Sikoa as his tribal chief. Many, nevertheless, may not be aware that the plot revolves around Heyman's prolonged absence. He was seen with Roman Reigns backstage at WWE many occasions. Heyman just revealed some unique pictures of the OTC. The absence of the wiseman's phone number begs issues about his allegiance to Roman Reigns, and if he will finally support the All Bloodline. Should Heyman show up before Survivor Series, the Bloodline narrative may have some last turns. Regarding his highly expected WWE comeback, Paul Heyman, speaking with Sam Roberts at Fanatics Fest Nice, stated he would return when required and wants to make a significant return instead of a nominal one, especially once Heyman is out of reach coming into Survivor Series, War Games 2024. It will be intriguing to see what backup plan Roman Reigns could have. Though drama, intrigue, and the unexpected abound in the world of WWE, one of the most perplexing and fascinating narratives of the last several months has revolved around the absence of Paul Heyman. Once a regular presence by Roman Reigns' side, the wiseman has apparently lost prominence and left both insiders and supporters wondering, where is Paul Heyman? Heyman's presence was essential to the Bloodline narrative as the devoted supporter of Roman Reigns. He used his charm, mic abilities, and smart business acumen to confirm Reigns' status as the tribal chief. Heyman was a thinker, a schemer who planned some of the most important angles in WWE history, not just a manager. Heyman has been conspicuously missing from television recently, however, leaving viewers wondering about his job, future, and maybe even what could be going on behind the scenes. Before delving into the riddle of his present situation, one should appreciate the enormous contribution Heyman has made over years for WWE. His name is connected with innovative character work and modern narrative technique. From his days as the brains behind ECW to his roles as evangelist for Brock Lesnar and subsequently Roman Reigns, Heyman has always shown himself as among the most talented and powerful personalities in professional wrestling history. Having aligned himself with Roman Reigns in 2020, Heyman became essential in the development of the tribal chief persona. His advocacy for Reigns not only gave the character more complexity, but also enabled the Universal Championship narrative soar to new heights. Taken together, they became an unbeatable team that changed the SmackDown scene as well as sometimes WWE itself. But as the years went by, rifts began to show in the once unwavering basis of their relationship. Specifically, when SmackDown focused more on the personal conflicts within the Bloodline, the chemistry between Reigns and Heyman started to change, beginning to doubt their positions and allegiance within the group. The USOs, Solo Sikoa, even Roman's cousin Jay started. But Paul Heyman was a constant through all of this, until lately. The summer of 2024 saw Heyman's hiatus from WWE events start in real force. Although he had been a constant presence supporting Reigns through many challenges and opponents, his visits become more rare. There were whispers that Heyman had stepped back from his on-screen performance for personal reasons, or that WWE would be changing the path of his narrative. Specifically, Heyman was glaringly absent from the aftermath of Reigns' defense of his Universal Championship against JUSO in a vicious Hell in a Cell match. The USOs, especially Jimmy, looked to be changing their allegiance as Reigns stood tall, and the Bloodline was under more than ever stress. Master of manipulation, Paul Heyman would have been ideal to intervene and steer the story, but he vanished from sight. The lack of Heyman's regular mouthpiece on SmackDown, which not only silenced but also substituted a more lonely and dominant Reigns, begged even more concerns. The tribal chief was now claiming his authority with a more austere, demanding manner, which fans said was rather stoic. Heyman's guiding hand helped Reigns' promos be more direct, incisive, and the uncertainty over the bloodline's future loomed enormous without it. Was a change in the plot starting here? Was WWE interested in looking at a Roman Reigns detached from his wise man? Alternatively, was something darker going on behind the scenes? Though WWE has not formally said anything about Heyman's situation, there have been persistent speculations that he could be permanently leaving his position as advocate for Roman Reigns. According to several sources, Paul Heyman is concentrating on his other endeavors outside of WWE, such documentary production or more general entertainment engagement. Others have hypothesized that Heyman's absence would fit a bigger plot involving a split between Reigns and Heyman. Given the conflict among Roman and his family members, especially the USOs, the timing of this absence might be preparing the bloodline story for a drastic change. Maybe WWE is building a long-awaited betrayal wherein Heyman would either flip on Reigns or, on the other hand, Reigns would dismiss Heyman dramatically. Particularly after the SmackDown segment when Heyman was seen conducting covert talks with Jimmy and JUSO, there have been times recently where it looked as if his devotion was under challenge. Should Heyman go or be written out from the narrative, it would be a major change not just for the bloodline, but also for WWE overall. WWE's storyline would be seriously lacking the strong mic skills and ability to create gripping, multi-layered stories. The company's success over the last several years has revolved mostly around his work with Reigns. His leaving marks the end of an era. Like any seasoned businessperson, Paul Heyman is never one to operate without a strategy. His absence could hardly be as clear-cut as just taking a vacation. Heyman could be playing a long game, setting the stage for a major surprise or comeback down road. Heyman is not new to WWE's lengthy tradition of keeping viewers on the tip of their seats with slow-burning narratives. His absence might fit a more complex story, in which he returns at precisely the perfect time to either rescue Roman Reigns or flip on him in an amazing way. Whether Paul Heyman returns to help Roman in a crisis, or to usher in a new age by supporting another group, like the USOs or perhaps a whole new star, his return would surely have a significant influence.